So without further gilding the lily and no further ado, Mr. Lawrence Sheffield.
You guys are good. That was spot on. And I may have gotten stuck going down the pole. Who knows? Who knows? So the video that you showed was that was something we did a couple years ago. That Plywood People is an organization in Atlanta that helps startups. They're a caring group, and it's always fun to see a blast from the past. And it was fun to be reminded about my buddy Demetrius. But it is true, my name is Lawrence Sheffield, and I am from Birmingham, Alabama. And I just got to say, being in the Northeast, we're facing some different issues than we do in the South. Like trying to find the 6 train in New York. I mean, I don't know how you guys do it, just get around. So we've bounced from, where have we gone, Will? We've gone from New York City to, we went to the South Bronx. We went to Harlem. We spent some time in New Jersey last night, and now we're hanging out with the real deal here in Connecticut. So I told the guys this, but I said, hey, I'm looking forward to going to Connecticut because I don't know about all you Wall Street guys. And then this morning in breakfast, I heard a lot of you guys are finance guys. So anyway, so hey, it really is an honor to be here. My story is this. 10 years ago, I was graduating from high school. And I know what you're thinking. It looks like that was 2 months ago. But give me a break, right? The reality was I was not going to a 4-year college. I was graduating with a 1.9 GPA. And the majority of my peers were attending reputable colleges. I felt lost, I felt a lack of purpose, and I felt alone. Each time one of my friends' parents would ask me, and now where will you be attending college? I just felt like I got knocked down another peg. I don't know if you guys have ever felt that way. I had a chip on my shoulder, but by the grace of God, who I did not give glory to at this time, I was fortunate to find the fire service. So for the last 9 years, I've been a professional firefighter paramedic in a great city of Hoover, Alabama. I think if that was, and most importantly, I got to meet my wife. So the last 2 years, May will be 2 years that Francis and I have been married. And I think if I stood here today and I said, hey guys, I graduated with a 1.9, I bought a house when I was 22 in Alabama. And by the way, you can do that in Alabama because the cost of living is so much lower. These guys in Harlem the other night were telling me that for a 2-bedroom apartment, it was like $3,200 a month. Is that kind of like that up here? I don't know. Let me tell you guys, yeah, you could be a baller in Alabama for $3,200 a month. Okay, you could have a house. I could live in your guest house. Like, we could sit in your yacht in the driveway. We could do whatever. It's all good. So I don't know how you guys are doing it up here. Come on. But the trajectory of my life changed dramatically in 2011. I went to the work at the firehouse one day, and it was my day. A guy named Brett Huffstutler rolled in. He was there to replace another guy about halfway through the shift whose wife just went into labor. And so Brett came in. He was an overtime guy. You know how that works. And he sat down, and he had a book, and it said Paul. And, you know, being the cynical guy that I was, I said, what is that, a book about Paul Revere? What you got there? He said, no, it's the Apostle Paul. And let me ask you some questions, kind of like I'll be asking the questions today. And I shut up and listened. I was in a point where I was chasing skirts. And I was trying to be a tough guy that I thought. So I hung out with the guys that went to the bars, and it was really empty. You see, I was really upset. I had lost my dad at the age of 20. He dropped dead at 56. And I was mad. growing up in the Bible Belt. Has anybody been down south before? You got any Southern guys? It's pretty much everybody. So feeling at home. So yeah, growing up in the Bible Belt is tough for a lot of different reasons because culturally, it is it's not acceptable to say that you're not a Christian. Does anybody, you know what I mean? I don't know how it is up here, but Will and I, this is Will King. Yeah, that's what we. Right. So Will King, this guy's awesome. We're going to talk about him in a second. He is a senior at Samford University, a Christian school in Birmingham, and this guy. He wrote a couple emails and got out of class this week, so please give it up for Will coming up here and hanging out with us. Will is a huge part of what we do at the wood shop. But Will and I have been talking about how much we admire the body of Christ up here because you guys are the real deal. I mean, waking up early, coming here and singing that song. I mean, it was like, oh man, It definitely is a huge testament to God's grace, and it's good to know that we have brothers up here, right? Because honestly, it's intimidating to come up here as a Southerner because it's probably what you hear about the South. You know, we did just get the internet last week, so you guys can come on down. You'll be fine. But you know, we heard, hey, Northerners are hard, right? They don't want you up there. And so when we came up here, you guys have welcomed us with open arms from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. So April 16th, 2011, Brett shared with me about Paul, which ultimately led to him asking me the ultimate question. Lawrence, would you say that you're a sinner? I said, yes. Do you need a Savior? Yes. Do you want to make Jesus Christ the Lord and Savior of your life? And for the first time in my life, which was hard for me, I accepted a Heavenly Father. I was angry at my father. My dad died at the worst point of our relationship. Our relationship was based on performance. And so as a young athlete, I don't know if you guys can relate with this or not, but I was supposed to play college baseball. I mean, I was a pretty good little guy on the field, played shortstop my whole life, had a pretty good batting average. But as the years went on, here was the secret, I wasn't that good. And so my dad, who was doing the best that he could, he got kind of more and more distant the more the reality kind of set in, right? And so when I ultimately quit playing sports and started pushing a lawnmower, I started a little lawn company. My dad was kind of done with me, I felt like. And especially when I didn't go to college and I was the first fireman in my family, I just really felt like I had let my dad down. And I'm here today to tell you that I don't talk about this a lot. I don't speak. We don't do this a lot. But Mr. Cole at the Manhattan chapter asked me. He said, "Will you open up about your dad?" He said, "There's a lot of guys that deal with the same issue, and so God gets the glory for the redemptive part of this story." And so I said, "Dad, this is something I'm going to do. I want to be a fireman. I think it's a noble thing." And right as he started coming around to it is when he had his massive stroke. And so I spent the next few years really angry, like I was telling you. And on April 16, 2011, God made it all right again. I still have a long way to go on the journey. This was 6 years ago. But I've realized that God can heal my father wound. God can heal us of the things that we have gone through. And so which led me to praying to God about His will for my life. I was lucky to be discipled at work. And I believe wholeheartedly that work can be a mission field and is a mission field. And so each day I would go into the fire station. My worldview had changed. I had guys saying, "What are you reading in your Bible?" And I would say, I guess I'm flipping around, but I landed in Matthew, and it says right here in Matthew 4:19, Jesus was talking to a group of fishermen, and he said, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." And I started digging into that, and so one of my passions has been using my hands. The lawn company I was telling you about, I'm not the strongest brander. The company name was You Grow It, We Mow It. You know, old ladies loved it, right? And so, yeah. But woodworking became a hobby of mine. A lot of firemen they have a second trade, and I was following around the construction guys. So I was toting lumber, and we were framing up stuff, and it got into some furniture stuff, and that sparked a huge interest in me. I was praying to the Lord about who it was that needed to hear about this Matthew 4:19 verse, and even this Paul guy that I thought was Paul Revere. And so the 1.9ers came back to my mind. That was me, right? I was the guy that was asking the hard question of what am I supposed to do next, right? The guy with the chip on his shoulder. I was getting introduced deeper and deeper into the inner city. I was meeting young guys that grew up in great homes that had drug addiction issues. And the 1.9ers, the GPA problem really became sort of cute, right, compared to what some of these guys are going through. And I kept meeting young guys around my age. I'm 29 right now, but at the time I was around 22, 23. And these guys would say, I don't want money. I don't need $5. What I need is a job. You see, I've got a little daughter, right? And she actually needs diapers. And she needs a dad. And right, and me and my baby mama, or me and my girlfriend, or me and my young wife, we need support. And I couldn't let that go. I couldn't let it go. And so through a lot of prayer and through just the grace of the Lord, woodworking came back. The art of work came to the forefront. And we stepped into Magic City Woodworks. So what is Magic City Woodworks? Magic City Woodworks is a result of a group of people getting together and praying and saying, Lord, what is it that we need to do with young men? Will you open some doors up so that we can make disciples who make disciples? Can we build a place where young guys can come and learn a trade, but most importantly, learn about who you are and learn about what it means to be a man? At Magic City Woodworks, we're an apprenticeship program. And a lot of people ask us, what do you guys build? Are you in there dovetailing? And here's my answer. We're not in there building pianos. We're trying to build grown men. So we focus on 10 things. We call them the 10 things that require zero talent. Have you ever seen that poster? I walked into a tree service shop led by a Christian man, right? And the first thing I saw was a big poster on the wall. It said the 10 things that require zero talent. Let me read them. Being on time. That's number one. The number one rule at our shop is you got to show up. And I think that's across my generation, like the millennials. We got to learn to show up. Not only show up, but to be on time. We talked about that this morning. Number two is work ethic. We've got a saying in the South. You guys might have made it up, and we found out about it later. But it's, hey, guys, we got to get after it today. What does it mean to get after it? Number three, what does it look like to show effort? And we've got a Spanish-speaking guy in our shop. He's come to us. He can solve a Rubik's Cube, but he can't say the number three. He's learning as we're going, but he calls it effort. And I love it every time he says it. Number four is body language. What are you saying with your posture, right? A lot of our guys, they're filled with shame. Have you ever tried to talk to a guy that's filled with shame? I'm sure we all have. The head's down. He's not making eye contact, right? And we're trying to get down on God's level and say, pick your head up, right? Because we're made in the image of God, and He's made it all right. Number five is energy. What does it look like to prep the night before? Number six, attitude. 7, passionate about what we do. 8 is being coachable. Again, my generation is known for being know-it-alls, right? Millennials, if you're working with a young guy and you're frustrated, just realize that if you raise them, you're part of the problem, because we were told growing up, you can be anything you want to be if you put your mind to it. And we believed it, right? And we've got this thing called YouTube, right? And as you're telling us about whatever it is you're trying to tell us about, we're under the table YouTubing on how it really works, right? Okay? So please give us a break. I'm here to say we come in peace. We come in peace, all right? 9 is doing extra. 10 is being prepared. There's 10 things that require 0 talent, and it's the hardest thing for our generation to do. So what does this look like? It looks like when we hire young guys, we focus on the basics. Okay, Magic City Woodworks started in a 1-car garage. One of my lieutenants said, "Hey, Lawrence, I talked to my wife. We're going to move the Christmas decorations out, move this shop in. Stop coffee shop dreaming about this, and let's get on with it. We're burning daylight. Let's get after it." Yeah, just burn through the list again. But we went to New Jersey last night. And we heard a great speaker, and he talked about there's the innovator, which is like the visionary, right? At that time, I was dreaming. And then there's a mode that you have to get kicked into, which is the initiation point. This was our initiation point. And so we stepped into the 1-car garage. I took all the tools I had and pushed them into the middle of the table. And people started showing up. Word of mouth got around, and we would get a call from a widow that said, "I just lost my husband. He was a woodworker. Come pick his tools up." Okay, this was huge for us. That's how we got our first table saw. That's how we got our first joiner, our planer. Hey, come get some wood, right? And so what should we build, and who should we build it for? So I hit the streets doing what any dumb young white guy would do in Birmingham, Alabama. I went to the toughest neighborhood that I could find, which was Inslee. It was a place that I had served formerly as a fireman, and I just saw through the help of a mentor, I saw it as a place that just had a tremendous amount of young guys with incredible talent and hearts, but needed an opportunity and an experience. Okay, so I walked down the street, and I got to meet our first guy ever, and his name was Demetrius. Through the help of a rec center coach, Demetrius and I got to meet, and we figured out that we weren't so different after all, and that we both wanted to be married. We wanted to have kids and a house, and so I invited Demetrius, after establishing a relationship, to the wood shop, and he showed up. Demetrius showed up, rule number 1. And we began to build cutting boards. Doesn't take a lot of lumber, but guys, this right here bonded our relationship for a lifetime. How many lessons are in a project when tools are running and men are talking, right? It's not about the cutting board. It's not about the cutting board. It's about the time that it took to build it. And so as we're in the 1-car garage, we start to grow. And we start busting from the seams. Our second guy, Quindarius, showed up, and a few mentors, a couple guys from the firehouse showed up. A 1-car garage, there's not much room to operate. And I got a call from a guy named Sam. Sam was there to tell me that, hey, I don't know you and you don't know me, but we need to know each other. My dad passed away 1 year ago. He said, my dad's dream was to see a woodworking shop in Birmingham, Alabama that's going to teach guys about who they are in Christ. He said, I'm on my way to come pick you up. And I hesitantly, I said, okay. And I got in the truck. And we drove downtown, and he showed me a 12,000 square foot building in the heart of downtown Birmingham. And he said, my dad bought this in the 90s when it was a red light district. And for the last 10, 15 years, we've been doing ministry in this building. But last year when my dad dropped dead of a heart attack, everything stopped. What do you think? And I said, let's pray about it. I mean, what? And he said, and we met back up, and we shook hands on, and I know, like, we talked about the cost of living up here, so this number might seem high, but we talked about $1 a year lease for a 12,000 square foot building. Amen. That's the good Lord right there. So Sam and I bonded. He was a strong brother in Christ, still is. And we moved into the building, and it literally lacked the electrical capacity to plug in like 3 or 4 tools. It was rough. The roof leaked like a sieve. I mean, we had some issues, and the people that were the smart people in the group, like on the board, they're like, "Hey, Lawrence, I don't know if this is the best idea." You know, sometimes you don't want to take on a big project like this, right? But we just razor sharp focus, knowing that the Lord had brought us this far, and He's going to bring us further. All glory to God. The first group that was called was an electrical company to see what the damage was going to be, right? All of the things that were running through my mind, how expensive it would be. Within 1 hour, about 20 electricians showed up in the form of an apprenticeship school. And the instructor, he's an old salty electrician. He walked in, he said, "You two go this way, you two go that way." And he said, "Tell us where you want all the plugs." And I thought, what a great training exercise. Like, just come rub it in a little bit, right? Well, and about after 15, 20 minutes, he said, "Guys, we're going to meet here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. for the next 9 weeks. We're going to rewire the building for this kid." Right? Amen. I mean, they come in every Wednesday, and these are third-year journeyman students. I mean, these are legit electricians, and they rewired the entire building, and they did it for free. Okay, and they thanked me. They're like, "Thank you for this training opportunity." I'm like, "Lord, what are you doing?" All right, and so the roof got replaced as well, debt-free, brand new roof, because woodworking equipment and moisture just don't work well together. And so what does the shop look like now? The shop looks like we've got a shop. We've got 5 paid apprentices working in the program right now. And like I said, we're building on the basics. We hire guys straight out of the penitentiary sometimes. We hire guys that grew up in great homes that are dealing with some serious issues. We've got guys just like me that have father wounds. We've got guys that are in a really hard place that are asking the question, what am I supposed to do and who should I follow? And our answer is Jesus. What does a day look like at Magic City Woodworks? Well, the door gets locked at 9 o'clock, right? Because if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time, right? And so we're teaching guys through the tough lesson of what it looks like to hold men accountable, right? I need to be held accountable. And our guys, in the beginning, showing them day in and day out that it's okay to be late. It's okay to not work honestly. That's not okay. That's not okay. So we begin each morning with a devotion. We're in the book of Genesis right now. We're talking about how it all got started. We bring in pastors from the church that are passionate about our young guys, and after devotion, we get after it. We function as a production shop. Currently, we are supporting half of our budget through the products that our guys build, and they're good. These guys are good at what they do. We've got an incredible team. We've got a full-time shop manager. We've got a full-time apprenticeship manager that came up through our apprenticeship program after doing about 5 years in prison. He got tied up in a capital murder case. His name's Perry. He found the Lord while staring at the wall in jail. And this man is a mighty man of God. And he is such an encourager to our guys about what is possible. And he's going to get married in about 2 weeks, right? He's the first guy in his family in like 3 or 4 generations to step up and get married. I mean, in Birmingham, guys, we are in, it's the hub of the civil rights movement, okay? There is a ton of things going on in Birmingham spiritually. And in our shop, we're trying to break down walls. The walls that were built up, I mean, I'm just going to be 100% honest with you guys. I grew up, my grandfather, I'm pretty sure, was a racist guy, right? Looking back, I think about that. He was doing what he learned, right? And I remember my dad telling me a story one time that he got in trouble because he said he called a black woman ma'am, right? I have a huge problem with this. But what will my kids know of, right? And we want to show them what's possible. So we're breaking down walls left and right through the power of the Holy Spirit. And we're seeing guys like Will come from a gated Sanford community, step into a wood shop, and Perry is leading Will in how to run a table saw. I mean, that's dignity right there. We've got a great group of guys. Our model currently is 50-50. We want to increase our sales and use donor dollars to expand and enhance the tools that we have. We believe that business is a good thing, and we want to have a shop that builds the best product possible. So where are we going? The dream is to see a shop full of young men that are coming, being intensely trained, number one, in what it means to be a man, right? What it means to go through hardships and to say, I'm going to persevere this storm, and I'm going to be held accountable, and I'm going to be a father and a husband and a brother. And then what does it look like to send these guys out into the workforce with a Colossians 3:23 attitude of whatever you do, work at it wholeheartedly as though you're working for the Lord and not for man. And hopefully these guys can change some other shops, right? We can take the culture of what's going on with our shop that has a huge cross in it that was there before we ever got there. And what does it look like to go and replicate that, right? And so don't give up on the millennials. Here's my takeaways. Don't give up on the millennials because we need you. We need your wisdom. We need you guys to say, hey, this is what it looks like to follow Christ. I don't know where the young guys are in this town, but there's a great group of men right here that I wish they were here having breakfast with you guys because they could learn a lot just by being around you guys. And so we're so encouraged. We need you guys. Please pray for us because we're up. I mean, I counted every time. This is the reality. Birmingham is 250,000 people. You know, how many people are in New York? Like 7 million. Okay. Yeah. Wow. 250,000 people. One of the highest murder capita rates in the nation. Hard history. We're starting to get some momentum. We've got some incredible men of God that are stepping up that I'm following. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to see young men step in as the leader of household and to see true transformation. I took a screenshot because I am a millennial. I took a screenshot on my iPhone in the months of January and February. Every time I saw a young guy under the age of 30 in Birmingham that was either killed or was the shooter or going to prison for a long time for serious felonies. Okay? I'm not proud of this number. It actually infuriates me. The number was 37. 37. That's 37 lives wasted. Right? And so we're praying that God is going to bring us through this. And we're praying that all these mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters that are losing young men could experience what it looks like to have a guy come home with sawdust all over him with a big smile saying, I worked hard today, right? And so I don't know if you guys got any questions about what we do. A passion is to see this, we want to see this kind of replicated, right? There's other guys around the country, and I'm sure there might be a guy next door doing something amazing that we want to know about. But it's hard. So far, we've already lost 2 of our guys this year, right? 2 guys. It's hard to compete with $750 an hour, right? Selling crystal meth. You know why? because that's what his dad did. That's a shame. That's not the apprenticeship we're looking for. So I don't know if you guys got questions. I'd love to answer them, and we'll be around some afterwards. So, does anybody got any questions?
Well, why don't we take a minute? Does anyone have any questions?
This is not a question. It's praise for you, what you're doing. You know, thank God gave you a 1.9 GPA.
Yes, sir. Amen.
Because that's what this country needs. Getting into trades instead of this college trap a lot.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it. No.
Thank God for the college guys, because our account, our financials would be a mess right now. It wouldn't be good, I promise.
Anyone else? Here, I see a hand back here.
Yes, I'd like to second what Hans was just saying as well, and a big part of my prayer is, along with kind of what you've stated and alluded to, is that the need of opportunity and how the role that plays. Having been in investing for a while, and I know that and you know, there's so many areas that are underserved, and there's others that are more served. So it's kind of more of a prayer over that. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is great stuff. You made the comment that you want to replicate this. Have there been any attempts yet to replicate it?
About 2 a month. I get an email. Somebody has stumbled across on the World Wide Web what we're doing, and or somebody told them about it. But we just had an apprenticeship program pop up in Nashville. A guy that tried to start a skateboard company that was working with guys, but it's really hard to sell skateboards. It was a niche market, and so now they have added, in addition, a 6-month apprenticeship program. And if you look at the website, it looks a whole lot like ours, and I'm okay with that. These guys are they're in a tough part of Nashville. That's the only one I know of. But I was really inspired. We went to the South Bronx, which I didn't know was somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but we were told that it's the poorest neighborhood in the country. And we have a new friend there. He's running the Bronx Woodworks. And so if you want to buy cutting boards from us, we would love that. We've got these beautiful ones on our website. But if you need a desk or something that would be crazy for us to ship up here, like Bronx Woodworks is the name. A couple Christian brothers that are living in the South Bronx missionally. They're not going anywhere. And we're talking with them about what it could look like to get young guys in their shop. They said they have like 2 or 3 guys stop by almost every day when the door's up saying, "Can I work here?" And it's intimidated them because they think, what about all the liability? But like all the things we've learned about how to insure it, how to, increase the safety parameters. Like maybe we could pray for the guys at Bronx Woodworking. Yeah.
I think you started to answer that question. Was you obviously have an online store then?
Yeah. We do, and I got to give credit to the guy over here. I love when people can come together around an idea and use different talents and passions. My passion and talent is not in technology. Like, it's a miracle if I can save something on Excel, right? It's not looking good if I got to put the slideshow together. Will, however, spent the summer building out our online store, and got us through a really busy Christmas season. And now he's a stud. This guy's helping us remarket how we're doing our tables. I don't know if you guys ever go to Chipotle. Right, you can't go wrong going there. it's fresh ingredients. It's easy, and we want to kind of Chipotle stylize our process in ordering a table. Right? Here's the fresh ingredients. You can customize it however you want, and here's the product. It wasn't that hard. It didn't take 40 emails. And so hats off to Will on doing that, and a great job.
So my question is kind of how you're working with millennials right now. I mean, what's the vetting process? You have 5 paid interns that are or apprentices that are working with you right now, but still, not everybody is going to kind of step up.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious what your process, or what your not so much process, but what your experience has been within that, because sometimes you go like, don't give up, but eventually you kind of have to dust your feet.
Which is the toughest part, I would say. I mean, the work that we're doing is taxing, because you know, it's the old saying. A lot of people tell me in those times, they'll say they think they're helping, and sometimes it does help, but they'll say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? And I just think, you know, that's true, right? But we do have guys, like we have an attrition rate. We have guys that show up and it gets really cold, and it's not cold compared to what you guys know of as cold, right? But let's go on the flip side. It gets really hot in Alabama. I mean, like you could fry an egg on the street most days, no problem. So when it gets hot, we'll lose a few guys, right? It's a lot easier to sit at the house, at Mama's house in the air conditioning. And so we actively pursue those guys in that moment and talk about, it's a great opportunity to talk about the enemy, right? And how he wants to divide us, and how he'll get in your head and say, you don't need this. You don't need this job, $7.50 an hour. You don't need that. Come on. And then what is true in that moment, right? And so we're going to pursue guys. And then there comes a point where we have to say, Lord, you've got this. And will you bring them back? But, you know, we've got to move on. And it's tough. You know, that's a tough thing. So, and we need your prayer in that. So.
Hey, Lawrence, do you guys survive strictly on your sales of products, or how does it work?
So we accept donations. We are a nonprofit. We, like this year, just to be 100% honest, I love transparency. Our budget's $400,000. So we got $400,000, which is insane because I never thought we'd say that. But we'll do $200,000 in sales this year. We're working with, I guess it's the Chelsea market of Birmingham, right? Which sounds pretty cool. But Birmingham is being revitalized. There's a lot of large commercial spaces in the downtown area that, I mean, they just did a $66 million renovation on a building that was built in the 20s, and they added the Pizzitz Food Hall, and they put in 13 gourmet food stalls. I mean, like, they pulled stuff out of New York, and it's great. And they hired us to build out 8 of those stalls, which is crazy. I mean, we're working with guys that we're working on fractions at our shop, right? But through the Lord's hand, it's been cool. And I hope I haven't downplayed our operation. We have a 12,000 square foot shop that's full of tools. Time and time again, God has brought us more commercialized equipment so that we can streamline our process. We want customers to be able to order a custom table from us and have it no later than 3 weeks after the date of order. So we're holding ourselves to a standard. We don't want to be known as the story. We want to be known as you're telling me a 19-year-old built that story. So check out our website. We do need sales when Christmas comes around this year, we were talking to Mr. Cole. We want to build an NCS cutting board, right? If you want to invite a brother to the meeting, give him a cutting board. I mean,